Everything we've been told is a lie. Everything in history, science, technology, health, biology, genetics, the universe around us, religion and money, obviously. And Nikola Tesla knew this. Step away from what you think is real and what you believe to be the truth and just analyze everything from a slightly different perspective. And I want to show you an example that basically shows if they could lie about this, they can lie about everything. If they could pull this one off, they can pull off anything. This is Michal Ledwith. He was the advisor to the popes at the Vatican for 17 years. He is a walking encyclopedia. He's one of the most incredible human beings you can ever meet. And what he found out is that the opening phrase of the Bible was completely messed with. We all believe and we read the opening text of the Bible that says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." The original Hebrew text was messed with. And to do that is very difficult because it's all a mathematical formula. So it's very difficult to cheat. It has to have so many letters across and phrases and they cross-reference it. So you can figure out very quickly if somebody messed with one of these phrases and these paragraphs. And yet they pulled this off. The original Hebrew text begins with the letter B, Beth. Barashit bara Elohim et hashamayim wa et ha'aretz. Ba, it starts with Ba, the second letter of the alphabet. It's not possible because all Hebrew sacred texts must begin with the first letter of the alphabet, which is A or Aleph. Somebody messed that up. It's not possible. At the moment, it doesn't make any grammatical sense, actually. It's grammatically incorrect sentence. For any Hebrew-speaking people, you'll know what I mean. And it refers to Elohim here as the gods, but it doesn't make any sense. So when he added A or Aleph, suddenly it says, Abba Rashit bara Elohim et hashamayim wa et ha'aretz, which means the Father of the beginnings created the Elohim, the heavens and the earth. The Father of the beginnings created the Elohim, the heavens and the earth. And suddenly the Elohim no longer is God or the plural of gods as we perceive it from the incorrect first statement of the Bible. Sound and resonance, common links of creation and religion. In Christianity, it's the Word. In Hinduism, it's Om. The Egyptians believed the universe was sung into creation, and the original people of Australia believed that the world was created with 3 sacred songs. And then we have the phenomenal similarities between the 6 days of creation in Christianity, the 6 aspects of Om, and the 6 aspects of the all-seeing eye of Horus, and you start seeing the connections between all these ancient cultures and the creation stories. And then the creation stories get even more interesting when you read the Hindu creation story. It says, everything was so peaceful and silent that Vishnu slept undisturbed by dreams or motion. From the depths, a humming sound began to tremble. It grew and spread, filling the emptiness and throbbing with energy. The night had ended. Vishnu awoke. It's just great when you start seeing these connections. Sound is the source of all creation. Sound and resonance is responsible for everything. It is the breath of the Creator, the prime resonance frequency, and the source code for everything in creation, including our DNA. Sound and resonance is responsible for everything in creation. By now you should know that sound manifests physical form, and this is the most basic example. This is the most basic fundamental demonstration how sound and resonance manifests into physical form. Every frequency has its own specific shape, a prime resonance frequency. Are you only looking at a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional effect? I think he actually uses rice on a metal plate here. In the low frequencies we can't hear, it has the same effect. The higher the frequency, the more complex the shapes. The lower the frequency, the more basic and the larger the shapes. The wavelengths get shorter and shorter as you go higher. The original people of Australia have a creation story that says time began when the supernatural beings awoke and broke through the surface of the earth. So imagine the surface of the earth being something like this, that metal plate being the surface of the earth, and the supernatural beings broke through the surface of the earth, and they created the surface of the earth with 3 sacred songs. Erik Larson is the guy that created the CymaScope, and this is when you can suddenly see how the human voice has potential to create infinitely. That with our voice, we have the potential to create everything and anything we can imagine. That we are indeed creators. And remember, every thought you have also has a frequency and a vibration, as a resonance, just like your voice. And some of these pictures of this CymaScope images tell us that it was these sounds, the images of the sound, that actually inspired religious symbols. That beautiful cross in a circle at the center of some of these cymatic photographs give us a very clear indication that the creators of the religious symbols knew exactly what they were talking about, that the source of creation is sound itself. Ancient civilizations understood sound and frequency, and they used it for everything. They used it as a tool, and they also used it to control and manipulate humanity. This is nothing new. We know by now that the pineal gland is pretty much what represents the all-seeing eye of Horus. It's a receiver, it's a transmitter, it's a powerful tool that we should be using, but we're not, because it was manipulated with and probably compromised. And it seems that these ancient beings, these either bird-headed beings or winged beings, used these cone-shaped tools and other techniques to manipulate our pineal gland and manipulate our DNA. They controlled us, the tree of life or the DNA, and they probably used sound and frequency to do that with. But what's important is to look at, so we got a pine cone, a cone-shaped tool in his hand, and that weird wristwatch that has got these 12 cone shapes pointing at the center, and then also this here. Seems like everything is encoded here when they draw these or carve these things. It's not just accidental. Everything has got a reason why it's there. So you'll realize why that is so important, because this wristwatch with those 12 cones pointing at the middle shows us that they weren't only controlling our thoughts and our minds with sound and frequency and magnetics in ancient times, but we've been doing it for ages now. There's your all-seeing eye of Horus, there's your half of that weird wristwatch with the 6 cones facing the middle, all controlling us with sound and frequency. And this brings us to using sound as a tool in technology. Sound creates light. The Ankh was used as a healing tool. We know that from images like this, and there's a lot more to be said about this. The medicine wheel is a cross in a circle that represents sound, that primordial source of sound, that shows that the Native American healers knew that sound could cure and could heal. This is a Sumerian seal that represents sound, and also this is where the swastika has its origin, in sound and resonance. Royal Raymond Rife, that cured with the man that found the cure for all disease with sound and resonance, that were converted to electric impulses. And in a library in Sedona is his handwritten manuscript that you can read all his handwritten frequencies that he wrote down for cures for all the disease. Lakovsky, the multiple wave oscillator, that has got an incredible record of curing all kinds of diseases, including cancers. And more recently, Anthony Holland, who in a TED talk in 2011 shows how he cures cancer with sound frequencies. Unfortunately, Anthony Holland thought he'd become famous, and since then we've not heard anything of him. He's sort of disappeared.
We showed these videos to our friends in the biology department. They said they hadn't seen anything quite like it. It seems to be a new phenomenon. These organisms are being shattered by our electronic signals.
Peter Davey boiled water with sound since 1940. Sound creates what's known as a star in a jar, magnetrons. It's called a resonant cavity magnetron that is created through resonance, sound resonance. It creates huge amounts of energy that's used in laser beams, used in microwaves, laser beams, etc. Sound acts as a cloak of invisibility. Sound can make things disappear. This 3D sort of plastic pyramid that they created, when they expose it to certain sound frequencies, anything they put underneath it disappears. becomes invisible. And then makes you wonder if that was the original idea for the structures of some monasteries. What do monks do in monasteries? They sit and chant. Sound creates hurricanes. 2 guys in 2003 that lodged a patent to create hurricanes out of sound. Believe it or not. Luc Montagnier, 2011, spontaneously generated DNA in water with sound frequencies. If you go on YouTube, you can watch one of these latest documentaries where he creates a virus with a sound frequency from Paris to Rome by sending a sound frequency of a virus across a telephone line, and they reconstitute the virus that he has in a lab in Paris. They reconstitute the same virus in a lab in Rome. This is just spectacular stuff. Now you can see how we can manifest things. We become creators and can manifest anything with sound. And this is why we now know that sound is the ultimate source of free energy. And Nikola Tesla knew this. He knew that the earth rings like a bell, and he used the sound of the earth because it constantly rings. It never stops. He used it as a source of energy to create his free energy device. And this is where we realize that sound and magneticism is inextricably connected. It's sound that creates magnetic fields, and moving magnetic fields create electricity. It's in that order that creation seems to happen. So we don't live in an electromagnetic universe, we live in a magneto-electric universe. If you want to find out the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. That's exactly what I've been sharing with you here. Now that you know how powerful your thoughts are, how powerful every word you write, every message you leave for somebody on your cell phone, how every email you send, how powerful all your communication and all your thoughts are, you realize how quickly we can co-create a new reality for ourselves. Because all of this positive stuff, the positive thinking, the positive talking, the positive co-creation of a new reality for humanity that is filled with prosperity and abundance is right here. We are creating it as we speak it and as we think it. No one can stop that. It's up to us. And the more people say it, think it, speak it, imagine it, the quicker we are going to create it.